Thank you very much for joining me on this morning on ITV. I did say that the speech made by the president will be a crux of what we'll be discussing today. And there was just this national broadcast and discussing this very vital issue about our Democracy Day, democratic governance in Nigeria, which has been uninterrupted from 1999 till date, about 19 years now. 19 years we've been on democratic governance. What are the prospects? What are the challenges? And discussing this with me, I have distinguished personalities. I have the former first chairman of Igweben local government in Abacha's administration, and also former deputy speaker, Edo State House of Assembly, and former speaker, Edo State House of Assembly, and member representing Igweben constituency, and currently the chairman head committees of the Edo State House of Assembly, Dr. Justin Okunobo. Many thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And next, I have the legal advisor to NBA Benin branch. He's no one else but looking at what he represents, he was formerly the PRO to the NBA, and he is Okifo. Ebusele Okifo. Thank you for coming. All right, looking at what we have, Justin Okunobo, you've been in the House, you've had experience on what it takes to govern the polity, and looking at what the president said on the national broadcast, it was more of like praising his administration on achievements. What do you make of that?
Well, first let me say Happy Democracy Day to Nigerians. In a country like Nigeria with so many ethnic groups, to have sustained democracy for 90 years, you just said, it's not an easy task. Yes, the president, you may say, has been president himself. Well, he's trying to look at what is on ground and what he's been doing and all that. I want to say kudos to him, because so far in 3 years, he's been able to touch a few things that he will be able to praise himself for. Nobody will fault him for that. People are rating him for 3 years. I want to say he should even be rated for 2 years, because he was ill. And I haven't been ill for the length of time he was ill. If you have been ill for 1 week, whatever you are supposed to be done will be taken away for more than three months. So nobody can fault him if you think he was praising himself. But I'm sure he's just trying to let you know what's on ground, to let you know what he intends to do more for our country.
Okay, he spoke about the economy.
Yes.
And to a great extent, a lot of persons are leveraging on the fact that it's not really transforming the average Nigerian on the economic growth that is being said.
Yes.
And even the dividends of democracy,
yes,
it's not being felt by Nigerians.
Yes. If you look at the economy, the indices have increased. But what people are saying that it has not affected their life directly.
Yes.
In this part of the world, there's a gap between the indices and what the people feel. And I want to say the reason it is slow is also because our people don't do things that will make that gap to be easily bridged. I have a few examples. The indices have increased, but we're not feeling it because even our people too don't do things that will make that gap to be filled on time. You will find that the government does a lot of put up a lot of things to make this gap filled, but the people don't help the situation. I'll give an example. For example, if something happened that made the price of petrol to go up, when those things are removed, the price doesn't come down immediately, because our people wouldn't allow it to come down because of personal interest. When I was growing up, those days, you go to Kingsway stores, you find maybe a pen is supposed to be 3 naira. You find the same pen you have for 3 naira, you have for 5 naira. When you ask, they will tell you this one that is going for 3 naira came at that price. Until it's sold out, it will be sold at that price. But it's not so today. Once there's a new set for 5 naira, the one that was supposed to go for 3 naira is almost immediately put for 5.
Okay, but why blaming the people for that? Is there not supposed to be a body regulating the prices?
There are bodies regulating the prices, but government, there's a limit to what government can do. Government doesn't have to drive everything. Yesterday I was discussing with some journalists. If you go to the Obakezwa Center where the buses load, the government went there, talked to the driver to pin the price, the transport price at a particular price, and they try to also bring down their rate so that the price can be low. But you will find that they will still want to increase the price. Somebody was saying they should put policemen there to check them. It's not everything you have to use force to do. What I'm saying that Nigerians do, that's why they came up with the issue of saying change begins with me. We on our own too should do things that will help government to get this thing going. If you check now, these people that used to be on the road, they call produce, they collect fees from lorries. The government has removed all of them because they believe they were part of the people making the price of foodstuff to increase. Because if you collect money from all the lorries all along the road, they add it to the price, they charge people who bring foodstuff from the villages. But you will find that even now that those people have removed, the prices of foodstuff have not gone down. Because those lorries, even though you have removed that one from there, they still will not reduce the prices. My point is, as government tries to get these things soft for the people, even those same people that want to enjoy these things, they don't bring down their prices.
Okay.
These are the issues that make these things. The economic indices have actually increased, but it has not shown in the life of our people. I'm not happy about it. Nobody's happy about it. But we're talking to our people too that when government tries to do all these things, even also people, feel for your own people and let the prices come down. These are the reasons that these things are still. But I can tell you that those things will come down. It takes time for the seeds of governance to bring fruits for people. An average of 4 years. That's why you allow people to do 2 terms so that they can see the fruits of their seeds. Most times, it takes about 4 years. A clear example, in the US, even though President Trump is not doing all kinds of things, but the American economy is doing very well. It is not because of Trump, it's because of the seeds Obama planted. Most of the fruits we are inheriting now that appears to be a bit not too soft for us are seeds of previous government. The seeds of this present government will take another 4 years to start producing fruits.
Okay.
If they don't make a second tenure, they might not enjoy the fruits of their own seeds.
Okay.
It's the way governance goes.
Thank you. Thank you. Eposelo Okifo, you are a custodian of the law, and in the speech made by the president, he made it clear that his primary objective, his administration's objective primarily, is on public safety and security, justice and prosperity. In all of this, do we have any cause to celebrate?
Well, for now, I would say that first of all, when you talk about democracy is not about infrastructure. Like at times you see them saying that they want to build infrastructure here and there.
Like the dividends of democracy?
Yeah, democracy itself, but democracy to try, for people to really know that democracy is on ground, there has to be rule of law. You understand? There has to be rule of law. All individuals, Nigerians, are supposed to be equal before the law. So if President Buhari is praising himself that for the past 3 years he has tried, I wouldn't want to take that away from him. But those his appointments, the people he has appointed, his party members, have they also put in their best for the past 3 years? And the answer is no. You understand? Now, some of the appointments...
Do you want to contest the issue of power?
Yes.
Do you want to contest the issue of power?
The issue of power now, you look at...
Because he made it clear that there has been much improvement in that respect.
Improvement of power, we have to be very sincere. Before he came in, we had more power. You understand? We had more power. We did not have all this kind of load shedding that they do now. When you have light for only 2 hours and you will not have for the next 12 hours. At times they give you the light in the morning, maybe by 6 o'clock, they take it by 9. You won't get that light again till about 3 p.m. You know, at times they bring it, you don't even get to 6 p.m. You understand? And you have to now look at it on the backdrop that when this administration came in, somebody that is the present minister for power, that's talking about Fashola,
yes.
He told Nigerians then that if they come in within the next 6 months and that Nigeria will have power. Now this is 3 years.
Uninterrupted power supply.
Uninterrupted power supply. Now for 3 years, now they have come in. Instead of the position to improve, it's not improving. They said they have increased the megawatt, but it's not improving. It's not showing. So if power cannot even show.
That could be because we still have the challenge as a nation in transmitting these powers generated, the megawatts generated to the distribution companies.
We have to look at these things. Before the administration came in, they must have sat down. They have looked at this problem. Before somebody as Fashola comes out to tell you that within 6 months we are going to freeze power and we'll have power. Now it's over 3 years. It's just today is making it the 3rd year. Now we don't have power. We don't even have it. Instead, it's deteriorating.
But does that by any way underscore the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, looking at what the administration has done so far in terms of security?
Yes, it will underscore it. You know why? Because if we have constant power supply, our economy will automatically improve. It will pick up. Because those that are...
But the economy has picked up. The economy has picked up, looking at what we had in the recession.
Those that are operating small businesses, some of them have gone out of businesses. You are also aware that some major companies have located from Nigeria. They have gone to neighboring countries like Ghana, where you have stable supply of light. If we have power, these companies will stay here. And if they are here, of course, they will employ Nigerians. Nigerians will be employed. You understand? So you look at that one on one hand. Then if we are talking about the rule of law, look at the rule of law. Now, everybody, we are all supposed to be equal before the law. Now, we are aware that in the fight against corruption, the government has tried. But people have been complaining, including my humble self, that why is it that it's only those in opposition that you are taking to court, or you are arresting, or you are prosecuting on the pages of newspaper and all that. Now, somebody like the immediate past governor of this state, we are aware that he has series of petitions against him. I'm not saying that he's guilty of the allegations in those petitions. If there's a petition against you, you ought to at least present yourself, you will answer those petitions, and you'll be granted bail immediately. You understand? How come that some people in this government, people like Rotimi Amechi, people like even Obanikoro that left PDP and went to APC, they have series of corruption cases against them. Nobody is bringing them, nobody is arresting them, nobody is telling them, come and make statement before EFCC. And others are taking up. You know, they bring them, you make your statement, and you are taken to court, and you are granted bail. They come out, like what just happened in Edo State, where Obi, Izayamu, even Imaswe was taken to court. They were all taken to court, and they were granted bail. We want to see issues like that. If people have petitions against them, present them before the court. Let the procedure take the normal procedure take place, so that we will now know that under the law that we are all equal. Some people cannot be more equal than others. We are not living in an animal farm. We should not be living in an animal farm where some animals are more equal than others. Okay. We should show example. You understand? So if Buhari is able to do this, the man, of course, he has integrity. You cannot take that away from him. But the integrity he has he has not been able to transform or transfer it into the appointments he has made. His appointees are the ones actually disappointing him. Because if they also have the kind of integrity that he has, then this nation should move forward. For instance, why would you say the economy is improving and it's not telling on the common man? If the economy is improving and it's not telling on the common man, then where's the economy improving to? If at the end of the day we still get a bag of rice for 16,000 naira, for 18,000 naira, half bag of rice is selling for 8,500, Then that was now presently. Before your administration came in, it was selling for 7,500. A bag of rice was selling for 7,500, 8,000. If you are telling the common man that the economy is improving, he should be able to feel it on his dinner table. You understand? If he's not feeling it, then you are just talking. As they will say, you are just speaking grammar.
Okay.
He should be able to show.
Thank you.
You understand?
Thank
so
you.
he needs to, the administration, Buhari as a person, needs to actually put his feet down to ensure that the improvement of the economy would let us see the effect on the common man on the street.
Thank you. Barrister Okipo made mention of a number of issues. He made mention of the power issues, which is still down, and then the perceived lopsidedness of the present administration in fighting corruption. Yeah. What are your comments about this?
Let me take power. Power has actually improved. You know, there are three approaches to that. You have the generation,
yes, the
transmission, yes, and the distribution. The generation has really improved so much. When this administration came in, it was about 2.7 megawatts, but now it's up to 7. The generation has increased, but the transmission, because of the weak transmission we have, all the generation cannot go into the transmission that we have. That's the problem we have. But the government is working seriously on transmission. Okay. You cannot say yes, that there have been tremendous improvement, but because distribution, the transmission is weak, we don't have enough to distribute. Okay. But I know the government is working on this.
Okay. What about the aspect of fighting corruption?
Corruption, we are doing very, very well in fighting corruption. In terms of blocking leakages, this government has tried so much. The Treasury singular account TSA has done so much to block leakages. At the state, when this book came in, NMC had about 101 accounts. We don't have such things again. So most of these things take time to bring succor to the people. People must understand it. It takes time. And the government is doing all it can to make sure that these things are, that the effect on the people will come up. But people just have to be patient about all this. The common man will always think about how it affects him. But the people who look at governance with looking at the bigger picture knows that there have been a lot of improvement. With time, all these things will improve on people. Buhari has tried so much on trying to fight corruption.
Okay.
People have to give it time.
Let's look at the aspect. Let's come back to Edo State, for instance. Yes. Not using it as a case study, yes, but generalizing. Yes. Let's look at a situation where theoretically, it's being said that all arms of government, the three arms of government, are separate, yes, and equal. Yes. But the model in Nigeria seems to be different. And while you answer that, there's still this impression that even the State House of Assembly in Edo State, yes, is like an apron string to the executive, being manipulated and controlled by the executive. Should it be so?
Yes. What I usually tell people is that it does not take the legislature to fight the executive to show that this is doing properly. If each arm is doing what it's supposed to do, most times there's always peace. But most people most times feel when things move smoothly that the legislature is not the apron string of the executive. It is not so. It is just because that each person tries to play his own part in the way that things will flow for the people. We don't have to fight all the time to show that there's separation of powers. If you do your part properly, and the other man does his part properly, it flows. But again, when there is when the two arms, yes, are really not flowing, it's also at times in the interest of the people for one arm to check what the other arm is doing. But so far in Edo State, I think the three arms are flowing at at the same time.
But you cannot say that they are separate and equal.
They are equal. It depends on how each of them decides to play their own part to take care of the people they are supposed to take care of.
Okay.
For example, the executive is the one that holds the purse. It is not supposed to be so. There's supposed to be autonomy at the different at the different houses. But you know, generally in our part of the world, this autonomy does not really flow the way it's supposed to go.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
But in the way the matter is going these days, we need to look at the people we represent and make sure that we allow things to go in such a way that our people will have the dividends of
democracy.
Okay,
thank you. Let me cut in there. Let's look at this whole aspect. Yes. We've always had this theoretically that the arms of government are separate and equal. But can you give us more ideas about this? Is it feasible, as in practical?
It's feasible. It depends on those. It depends on those of the affairs of at the helm of affairs of the various arms. You understand? But on this aspect, I would say yes. If you look at the executive, and you look at the legislature, and you now look at the judiciary, you see that in those states, I must actually give kudos to the state governor, because if you look at the High Court now, it's been developed. The High Court before, when you enter the High Court, it was an eyesore. Now, you can see that if you enter the High Court now, the whole place is tied, then you have a new complex, new High Court complex coming up. The High Court is supposed to be the headquarters on the part of the judiciary, while the House of Assembly is the headquarters for the legislature, then the government house is the headquarters for the executive. I feel that there can be improvement. Improvement in the fact that, first of all, the House of Assembly have to be alive to their responsibility, make sure that their oversight duties, they perform it to satisfaction for the benefit of the people. Then the executive, of course, they should also ensure that programs are actually executed the way it ought to be, while the judiciary does its own interpretation of the law. So if they are actually separate, you do your own independent thing, the other one does its own, you see that we'll have progress in this state. Because if the duty of the legislator is to make law, it makes law, the duty of the executive is to execute those laws. And the duty of the judiciary is to look at whether that laws were executed arbitrarily or not.
Yes.
To interpret it and look at it. You understand?
Okay. You made mention of the fact that there were some developmental strides
yes.
in terms of infrastructure.
Yes.
What about the freedom of the judiciary?
Well, for Edo State, I can only speak for Edo State. I know that for now, as I'm sitting here, I know that for now, the executive, they have not been overbearing on the judiciary. They have not. We have not had cases now where probably you have an issue in the High Court and the executive is trying to intervene. It has not happened. Because if you also look at the caliber of the judges that we have in this state, like as the chief judge and the judges we have in this state, most of them are highly independent. That's the truth. If you also look at it, you see that the Edo State judiciary is the only judiciary in the country where you don't have any judge having any problem with a petition, standing a petition, or case of allegation of corruption, bribery and corruption. It's not in our judiciary.
Okay.
You see it. So the state government has actually tried by not interfering in the judiciary in Edo State.
Let's look at the oversight functions
yes.
of the legislature,
yes.
and where it has to check the excesses of the executive.
Yes.
And the state in particular and the National Assembly.
Yes.
Do you see a kind of control exhibited by the executive on the legislative?
Well, I will only say that the sub-point there, the only sub-point there is the issue of when that debate on the freedom of the House of Assembly actually came up. People were not happy that the House of Assembly said they didn't want independence. And we're surprised. Because first of all, they ought to be independent of the executive. So just like the former speaker here said, the pulse is being controlled by the executive. It ought not to be, because now if it comes, if allocation comes, that of the House of Assembly ought to be given to the House of Assembly. Those in the House of Assembly, they will now account for those funds, manage those funds, then they are actually independent. The one for the judiciary ought to also be given to the judiciary, and they will manage it. The executive also have their own, and they will manage their own, so that there will be clear-cut independence of the three arms of government. Okay. You understand? So at the national level, we all see how the executive, the federal executive, they are working with the National Assembly, and we have seen where they had issues here and there. But you must also not fail to understand that in all this, there's a little bit of politics in everything that they do. They look at it. There's an issue in the House. You see that at times the executive at the federal now, if they take side, you see that at the end of the day, you don't get to the bottom of it. Like what happened in the National Assembly, where somebody brought talks into the National Assembly and the maize was taken away. As we are speaking now, the person is seen as if he's having the shield of the executive. You understand? Why the other person that always criticizes the federal government here and there, we saw what happened to him, Dino Melaye. We saw what happened to him. You understand?
Yes.
So all these things, that's why I said there needs to be improvement. I think that what they should be thinking, those in the executive, those in the judiciary, those in the legislature, what they should be thinking about is about the people who put them there. Because all of them, they ought to be representing the people.
Thank you. You've said a lot. And just in case you're joining us this morning on ITV, and I've been having a chat with the NBA legal advisor, Benin branch. It's no one else but Ebosele Okifo. And also one time the first chairman of Igweben local government and in Abacha's administration. And also former deputy speaker, EDHA, and former speaker, EDHA. And currently is the chairman head committees in the House, Dr. Justin Okonobo. Many thanks for Steve being with me. Well, a lot was said, but let's look at the aspect where the House of Assembly says that it does not want freedom. Can we put that together?
Yeah.
Why?
It's not, the House of Assembly does not say, as not said, it does not want freedom.
Independence.
Independence. No. The House of Assembly has not said that. The issue is, as it is now in the country, that bill has been passed, and there's freedom for the houses of assembly. Probably the president has not assented to it. Once assented to it, there will be freedom for all the houses of assembly. There will be.
Okay.
Yes, it has been passed. It's just that the president has not assented. Once he assented, there will be freedom for all the houses of assembly, and there will be this first line charge for all the houses of assembly all over the country. Okay,
I want to really ask you this, like what the former chairman Tahiru Jega of INEC said in the ICC in Abuja, where he said that the National Assembly lawmakers are notorious for job seeking, for bribe seeking to perform their constitutional duties.
Yes.
What do you have to say about that as it trickles down to the various state houses of assembly legislators?
Jega, by his own status, is that's the way he speaks, and I think there was really nothing wrong about what he has said. It's just that I was a bit taken aback at the way he presented it. I don't think all of them take bribe, as he actually said. But if you look at how people behave, everybody really is not perfect. He has said it. It is gone already. But I don't think it's the general impression that all the members of the National Assembly, the committee chairmen, all take bribe. Not all of them. Okay. Some do. Okay. Not all of them. And Jega has been it's a comrade, and over time he is known for his astute position, the way he takes things. Okay. He has spoken And I don't think it's something we should worry about.
Okay. Your final words, your parting shot on this program, on this segment,
yes,
as it affects Nigerians' Democracy Day.
Yes.
Should we call for celebration?
Yes, it is. You will find that actually over time, our democracy has improved. In the days of our fathers, in the days of Action Group and NCNC, if we were in different parties, it was about death. We don't greet each other. We don't, my child will not marry your child if I was in Action Group and you were in NCNC. But over time, all that has changed.
Okay.
These days, in the same family, it's very possible for my wife to comment PDP in my presence. We don't worry about it. So over time, it has taken place from Action Group. We now go to the UPN, MPN period of rigging and all that. By the time we go to SDP, NRC, we had the freest and fairest election where Abiola won his election and the rest of them. We have moved over time.
Okay, so there's much improvement.
So much improvement.
Thank you.
There's still room for improvement, but we know we're going to do much, much, much better. I want to congratulate Nigerians that in a nation where you have different kinds of ethnic groups, so far, democracy has reached the level it has reached. We are improving, and there's room for improvement. Nigerians should be happy. There's room for improvement. Things will be better.
Thank you, Dr. Justin Okonobo.
My honor.
Okay, your parting shot on this.
I feel that there should be improvement. There ought to be improvement.
There will be.
And if we are just 19 years, yes, and we try to look at the United States of America, we know that their democracy is over 200 years old. So there should be improvement.
So do we need to walk up to 200 years?
No, we don't need to walk up to 200. What we are saying is that at least we are still at the infancy level. So there ought to be improvement. I expect that what the present administration should do is to ensure that the improvement that they said there's improvement in the economy should reach the common man, table. You understand? That you don't tell us that the economy has picked up and at the end of the day nothing is happening. You don't tell us that the economy has stabilized. Then at the end of the day, prices of foodstuffs and services are still very high. Okay. You understand? So at the end of the day, if the economy has improved and the masses are still suffering, then you are failed. You understand? So I expect the president to work on it, to make sure that the improvement of the economy tests on the people, tests on the generality of Nigerians, so that there will be no bickering here and there. There will be no too much complaint. Let them create more employment opportunities. Let there be security. Let them settle the issue of insecurity in the Northeast and settle the issue of the Fulani enhancement, and people will not be agitated anymore.
Thank you.
Understand? Nigerians don't care who becomes the president. If at the end of the day, what they are supposed to have, they have it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ebosele Okifo, a legal practitioner. Thank you for coming. And thank you, Dr. Justin Okonobo. We do find time to also have you in our subsequent discussions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Well, the program continues, and we'll be also talking with some public affairs analysts and a politician on the issue on our democratic governance in Nigeria. Do stay with me.